In this video, we'll be walking through some common areas a departmental budget manager will be going through within Kepion. When we log into Kepion, you'll start by selecting which app modules we have been granted access to. For this video, we will step into the expense planning module. We can view a summary report on the starting page, where we can use the filters to navigate through different time perspectives, and also different levels of the entity hierarchy. Within the OPEX budgeting form, we can select each department and see only the valid GL accounts for the departments to plan by. This can be contextually set in the admin module. Let's go ahead and input new budget numbers for the vehicle lease. Here we can use familiar Excel formulas and drag and fill to populate the values desired. We also have full audit trail tracking that shows all changes made by each user in the system. On the travel expense planning form, this is an example of using drop-downs to simplify the driver inputs for business managers. The inputs are then calculated based upon the latest rate assumptions managed centrally by corporate or region-specific. Now let's go ahead and submit our budget plan. Here we can select Submit, add any commentary for the approver to see, and view who is the next approver before submitting. As the approver, I can view the submitted plan through my homepage or email notification. Once in the submission, I review the KPIs and details before approving the request to the next approver. I can also make this approval final at my level, which would expedite a full approval. This is only enabled for workflow admin users. For reporting areas of Kepion, we can start with the Management Report section of the FP&A Essentials app. Here you can view top-level reports with KPI tracking that can be controlled via filter controls up top, and component-specific filters to show different measures for breakdown by country. When viewing the income statement report, we can select which fiscal year to focus on, and the form will dynamically show the actuals from last year. While switching back, we'll show the current actuals and forecast periods based on the current month we're in. For any values we see in the report, we can always drill down to do your ad hoc analysis on what makes up the summarized values. Also, for any actuals data synced with Kepion, you can view the transactional detail based on the cell select context you have drilled into. In the FP&A Essentials, as a mid-size company, they can select which data source to connect with. The FP&A module has built-in transformations to bring in the relevant data upon connection based on the source. In addition, if the admin would need to load actuals on demand, they can opt to load via CSV. And as a new GL accounts get loaded in, they can manage the mapping to the appropriate cost center and planning accounts. In the budgeting and forecasting process, the admin can decide which scenario to pre-seed from and to, time scope, and overwrite of data or not. If the organization needs to roll back from a prior scenario, or create new end-to-end what-if scenarios to plan, they can manage the pre-seed process here and the data cleanup. We can take an existing report in the report editor, such as the income statement, decide which dimensionality we want on each row, column, and filter axis. We can easily switch entity to go into rows instead of a filter. Then select which member we want on the row to appear. Then when we go to preview, we can see how the report looks with the change before saving. In the dashboard editor, we can then incorporate the new version of the income statement into one of the dashboard pages. Here we'll add the new page. Select which report we want to include, resize to the appropriate viewing area, and add the appropriate filters along the top to control the report context. I can then preview the new additions to the dashboard when we're done before publishing them to the business users. Aside from Kepion reporting, you can use your own BI reporting tool to connect to Kepion. Even with Excel, you can connect to Kepion natively without an add-on for real-time pivotable reporting. Here I can select which data model in the FP&A application I want to analyze. Then I can select which dimensions go onto row, column, and filter. And once I have my pivotable defined, I can fine-tune the settings to show the specific data slice I want to see. And the best thing is that all the data can be refreshed with the latest actuals and forecasted data in Kepion.